Well, there she is, everybody. And Ms. Castle joined us via Zoom. Ms. Castle, can you see in your report?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Joined by Attorney Lynn Getz as well.
All right, thank you.
Please adult for the people.
All right, thank you, folks. We are here today for a final pretrial conference. The case is currently set for an impending trial date. However, based upon the fact that I see a written pretrial agreement here, I anticipate a resolution of the case. Ms. Dahl, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Honor. The people have offered that if Mr. Lozak were to plead to count 3, controlled substance maintaining a drug house, the people would add a count 4, controlled substance possession of methamphetamine, and would dismiss the remaining counts in the habitual and the controlled substance second or subsequent. I apologize, I did not put that on the form.
Which part?
That
dismissal?
we are going to dismiss the remaining counts, the habs, and the controlled substance second or subsequent.
All right, hold on. I'll make that note here for you. It's obvious. It seems obvious, obviously, because underneath paragraph 1, it talks about what the defendant is pleading.
And I wasn't sure if it was a guilty or no contest plea, so I did not fill that out.
All right, Ms. Castle, is that a complete and accurate statement of the pretrial agreement today?
Yes, Your Honor. And if I can briefly address the advice of rights, as I understand that's not in your file.
That's right. I'll take care of you.
Okay.
It's all right. Thank you very much, though. Mr. Bosick, have you heard what the attorneys have told me we're going to do today?
Yes, sir.
Is that how you wish to resolve this file, sir?
Yes, sir.
Please raise your right hand. Sir, do you swear or affirm that the information and testimony that you're about to provide shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
Yes, sir.
You may lower your hand. All right, Mr. Bosick, turning your attention back to October 10th of 2025. Were you on probation or parole at that time?
No, sir.
Were you on bond pending any other felony charges anywhere at that time?
No, sir.
You are currently charged on a piece of paper called a felony information. Basically, it's a charging document. And on it, there are 3 charges and some sentencing enhancements. Count 1 is a charge of deliver or possession with intent to deliver the controlled substance methamphetamine. That is a felony punishable by up to 20 years and or up to $25,000. Now, there are 2 potential sentencing enhancements that are included here. One is called a second or subsequent drug offender enhancement that could, within the discretion of the court, increase that maximum penalty from up to 20 years to up to 40, and from up to $25,000 up to $50,000. Or in the alternative, you could be sentenced as a second habitual felony offender. That could have increased the potential punishment from up to 20 years to up to 30 years. However, count 1 and those 2 enhancements will be dismissed if you enter a plea, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Count 2 is a charge of felony firearm. Now, that's a felony punishable by 2 years consecutive. It's a mandatory minimum. It's just straight 2 years. And what's even more important there is that 2 years would have to run consecutive if you were found guilty of any other charge. So, for instance, if you were found guilty of that and then say another charge and you got 1 year and 1, well, here you'd have to serve the 2, then serve that 1 year. So therefore, that would be a total of 3 years, just by way of example. However, that charge will be dismissed. Count 3 is one of the ones to which I anticipate you're going to plead guilty to. Count 3 is a charge of maintaining a drug house, which is a home used for keeping, selling of controlled substances. It's a high court misdemeanor punishable by up to 2 years and or up to $2,500. Plus, there's one of those enhancements called a second habitual felony offender enhancement, and that could have increased the maximum penalty from up to 2 years to up to 3 years, and from up to $25,000 up to $37,500. However, if you plead guilty to count 3, the prosecutor agrees not only to dismiss counts 1 and 2, but also that second habitual offender enhancement. He should just be facing a high court misdemeanor, punishable by up to 2 years. Now, there's a new charge that will be added, and it's going to be an added count 4. And that is one that you're going to plead guilty to. Now, it's important to tell you that there won't be any other enhancements, so I don't need to go over those. You'll be pleading guilty to an added count 4, possession of the controlled substance methamphetamine. Now, that's a felony punishable by up to 10 years and or up to $15,000. So again, you'll be pleading guilty to that added count 4 that I just talked about and the count 3 for the drug house. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, before we go over that, I need to go over some rights with you. If you enter a plea of guilty and I accept that plea, you will not have a trial of any kind in this file. Does that make sense? If I enter a plea of guilty, you'll be given up certain rights that you otherwise have. Now, those rights include the right to be tried by a jury, the right to be tried without a jury if you chose, the court and the prosecutor consented, the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, the right to have the prosecutor prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, the right to have the witnesses against you appear at the trial, the right to question and cross-examine those witnesses against you, the right to have the court order any witnesses you may have for your defense to appear at the trial, the right to remain silent during the trial, the right to not have its silence used against you, and the right to testify if you chose to testify. Mr. Bossack, do you understand those rights that I just covered?
Yes, sir.
And even more importantly, do you understand that if you enter a plea of guilty, and I accept that plea, you will be forever waiving those rights as they apply to this particular case. Additionally, any appeal as to the conviction and sentence pursuant to the pretrial agreement would be by filing an application for leave to appeal and not an automatic or claim of right to appear, which is only entitled to a defendant when they're convicted at a trial. Furthermore, you may be given up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise only be appealable if you were convicted at a trial. You also will be given up the right to claim that the plea today was the result of any other promise, threat, or inducement not told to me today on the record. Other than the terms of the pretrial agreement, which we've gone over, have there been any other promises, threats, inducements to get you to plead guilty that we have not talked about?
No, sir.
You went to the plea of your own free choice.
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. Castle and others in the office have probably talked to you about potential sentencing, not just what the maximum punishments are, but what they think could be a reasonable and fair sentence. Have they done that?
Yes, sir.
Now, they probably have talked about something called the Michigan Sentencing Guidelines. Now, those guidelines are given to courts by the legislature, and they give us a minimum range of what the bottom end of your sentence could be. Now, I want to highlight for you whatever that guideline range is, and if they talk to you about it, that guideline range is merely an estimate. Okay, it's not mandatory. Has anyone made any promises to you as to exactly what the sentence would be from me?
No, sir.
Now, Ms. Castle's office and those down at their office, have they been responsive to you, talked to you about the case, answered all your questions, things like that?
Yes.
And are you satisfied with their representation at this time?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe that entering this plea today is in your best interest?
Yes, sir.
All right. As to count 3, maintaining the drug house, how do you plead?
Okay.
As to possession of the controlled substance methamphetamine, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Now, before the court can accept that plea, I need to have you tell me what you did that makes you guilty of those 2 offenses. So I'm going to ask some questions. Turn your attention to October 10th of 2025 in Herring Township here in Wexford County. Were you living at this home at 8788 East 30.5 Road?
Yes, sir.
And you agree that that's here in Cadillac, Michigan, in Herring Township in Wexford County?
Yes, sir.
So what was happening here with this house? Is that the same house that the drug house was for?
Yes, sir.
So tell me just what happened. I'm going to tell you that because I see something. This is a CI. That generally means a confidential informant. And because I see a lot of the witnesses involve law enforcement, I'm going to suspect that somebody from like Traverse Narcotics team probably came in.
Yes.
All right, so tell us about that.
I was in bed and heard them call out
Mhm.
and I raise my hands and they come busting in and pick me up, handcuff me.
Okay. And while they were, I'm sorry, and while they were there, did they find that there was some methamphetamine there?
Yes,
Was that in your area of control? In other words, you knew it was there and you had the ability to move it up, move it around, use it, or do whatever you wanted with?
yes, sir.
All right, how much was there?
17 grams.
Okay, where was it located?
Drawer.
Okay, and so here's the issue. You knew it was there, correct?
Yes,
And you knew that it was methamphetamine, correct?
yes,
And you didn't have any lawful right to possess that methamphetamine. Is that correct?
correct.
Now, was there any other methamphetamine being stored there in that residence?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Now, so here's a key issue. This home that was there, do you own it? Do you rent it? Tell me about that.
Me and my mother own it.
Okay, so it's a home that how long you been living there?
13-ish years, I think.
Okay, so the key phrase here is for count 3 is maintaining. So this is a home that you live in, you maintain, you help pay the bills, things like that.
Yes,
Now, the other part for maintaining a drug house can be the storage question, and we know that there were 7 grams there. It also can be for a home for selling and or using. Have there ever been any people using the controlled substances there inside that residence?
yes, sir.
All right, and you knew that at that time, correct? It's not something you learned about from somebody telling you, oh, back 15 years ago, I used marijuana here, right? It was something recent that you knew.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. All right. Ms. Dahl, do you believe the defendants provided a factual basis to support the 2 counts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you aware of any other promises, threats, or inducements?
I am not.
And do you believe I've complied with Bishop Code 6.306?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Castle, do you agree with all 3?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court finds the defendant's plea today is made freely, knowingly, and voluntarily. The court further finds the testimony provided by the defendant under oath on the record satisfies the required elements of proof for counts 3 and added count 4. Therefore, the defendant is found guilty of those 2 counts. The remaining counts and sentencing enhancements will be dismissed at the time of sentencing. Mr. Bosek, we will be back here. Generally, it's in 4, maybe 5 weeks from this upcoming Monday. I do sentencing in Wexford County every Monday morning. Between now and then, an agent from the Michigan Department of Corrections has to prepare a pre-sentence investigation report. One of these reports must be prepared anytime someone's convicted of a felony within a state court here in Michigan. The report describes the offense, the pretrial agreement, any statements, information you make or provide, information about your work history, family, other important factors that I need to know. That will also include a score into the guidelines. And once again, that is not mandatory, but the court does have to consider them. Also include a recommendation as to the sentence. Please keep in mind as a recommendation as the court alone, I determine the sentence. There are 3 steps that involve you for the preparation of this report. When you leave this courtroom, you're going to go downstairs to the probation and parole office. Do you know where that's at?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you're going to go down to their office. It's right across from Community Corrections. And they're going to give you a manila folder and you're going to take it, fill it out, turn it back in. Make sure you answer all the questions and things in there to the best of your knowledge, okay? Also, you'll be subject to an interview with an agent from that office. You have the right to have Ms. Castle or one of the other attorneys from their office appear with you. And then one of those attorneys is going to have to meet with you somehow and go over a copy of that report before we come back to sentencing. Generally, the attorneys get their reports, and I do as well, about 10 days, maybe 2 weeks prior to sentencing. They're going to have to go over it with you to see if there's any corrections or they have any objections to make to the contents. All right. Any questions about what we have done today, sir?
No, sir.
All right. Any objection to continuation of bond, Ms. Dahl?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Bossack, your bond conditions continue. Since I'm a blank as to whether or not I've seen it all in the last year or so or whatever, means you've been doing pretty well. So make sure you remain compliant with your terms or conditions of bond. That goes a long way with this court. When people violate bond, that tells me that maybe probation is not the right thing for them. So, but let's talk positively. Let's keep doing right things. And if you need, even though I don't see that it's ordered, talk to community corrections. Get you into a treatment program. Outside of the hallway, that we have racks now that have contacts, whether it's for addiction treatment services up in Traverse City, Catholic Human Services here in Cadillac, or other programs. Sentencing in criminal cases is not always about punishment. It's also about helping people deal with issues in their lives. So I want to see you make good choices here. All right. Anything else, Ms. Dahl?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Ms. Castle?
Just briefly, Your Honor, he's involved in the EOP at the last court hearing that was ordered. He's doing great in it.
Oh, good. I couldn't remember that, Mr. Bosick. So I'm glad to hear that, and I hope that well, of course, I urge you to continue doing it. So keep doing it. All right. Thank you, sir. We're adjourned. You're free to go ahead.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.